Well, ladies and gentlemen, the message of sit it out is definitely coming out from all the people in the Democrat Party. The message of sit it out is something that they're concerned about. Now, we know good and well the term sit it out, leave the election alone, don't participate in the process, did not come from the national media. It came from the black grassroots. That's where it comes from. And they are having to address that now. So they sent out former First Lady Michelle Obama to come out and speak about why you don't have the luxury to sit it out. So let's go ahead and roll that.
My point in telling you all of this isn't to rile you up. I am just trying to show you that no one has the luxury to sit out or stay at home just because you're not feeling excited enough. Because as I've said time and time again, if you don't vote, other people will.
Well, Sister Michelle, let me say something to you. Yes, we do have the luxury and the right to sit it out. We don't have to vote if we don't want to. Voting is what you call, like, say, a right. You have a right to vote. You have a right not to vote. And just that simple. Now, in the era of high inflation in this country, in the era of the highest gas prices that I've ever seen in my life, the gas prices are higher now than what they were in 2008. I remember in 2008, the highest gas prices that at least we saw here in Texas was about, over $3. Now gas prices, has went up to $5, but I know it has been coming down a little bit. And the reason why the gas prices have been coming down just a little bit is because people are realizing, man, I need to sit myself at home. This is costing way too much money. And that's the only way that's going to take down the prices. Unfortunately, in America, they live on supply and demand here. You have a lot of people in this country now versus you look at the population of America in 2008. You look at the population of America in 2022, the population, it went up a lot. The more people, the more demand on resources. OK, this is why when you have that conversation about just letting everybody just flood into this country, resources are finite and they're not infinite. OK, and really, if you want to think about it, America should do a pause on all immigration for a while, just so they can get some things in order. But if you keep letting everybody flood your country and everybody flood your country, well, it's going to increase the need for resources. And then this country has trained everybody, whether you were born here or immigrated here, that there's so much a supply of everything that you don't have to just, conserve anything. Now, I know they could say, well, we got strategic oil reserves. We got this, we got that. I get it. But the strategic oil reserves isn't for just to be using it just to take the prices down. It's supposed to be used like in case of a war, something like that, or some sort of emergency where now they can run the country, on those oil reserves. But in the midst of all these issues and problems, the Democrat Party, especially through Biden, hasn't done anything for black people whatsoever. In the last podcast, I asked that question. What did the Democrats do for black people? Let me know. Hey, I'll change what I'm saying if you can point out some things that's been done for black people. And nobody can point out what has been done for black people. Even people that's gotten things from Biden are complaining. And I know why they're complaining, because the inflation is eating their money up. That's why they're complaining. The gas prices is eating their money up. It is. So we was already on this before the inflation got, worse and worse and worse than what it is right now. But if you feel, Michelle, that we don't have the luxury to sit it out, well, tell Joe Biden to do something for black people. Because the way it's setting up right now, We do have the luxury. Now, what Biden is trying to do, and this is all political, Biden is trying to do a federal gas tax holiday. He wants Congress, because only Congress can do this, which I don't see it happening. I see the Republicans blocking this completely. But he wants to basically make the gas 18 cents cheaper on your gasoline. If you have diesel, 24 cents cheaper for 3 months. Why only 3 months? That sounds very political, right? Why don't you suspend the gas tax until the prices come all the way down? That would be a way to relieve it, but this is going to be the problem with that. When you have the gas prices go down, especially in the summer, what happens? More people are going to drive. More people are going to go to the pumps. That's just the way that works. And states, I think New York State and a couple of other ones, suspended their state tax. Because, a part of your gas prices is state tax and federal tax. Okay? So even if they took that away, it's still not going to drop the freaking gas prices enough where people say, oh, man, I'm comfortable with the gas prices now. So all that's purely political because Biden knows, shoot, if I can get these gas prices down at least a little bit, people come out and vote for us. But no. Well, recently, word on the street is your boy Clyburn say he would support Kamala for president. And I thought that was interesting because they know Biden. They know Biden is not going to win re-election. But Kamala's not going to win re-election either. Let's say if she wanted to run for president, I don't see her beating a DeSantis or Trump. I just don't see it whatsoever. They would have to get somebody new and somebody that people don't have a history, with at all. But they're scared about the election. The Democrats are real scared about that. So I've had people kind of respond to certain things I've been saying as of recently about, some people, saying, well, we can't vote for Republicans. We can't sit it out, X, Y, Z. Or they say, why do we basically, hurting ourselves voting the other side because they not offering nothing. Well, the Democrats isn't offering nothing either, though. Like, that's what they never talk about the Democrats offering something. Just because the Democrats will treat you a little nicer than Republicans will, and just because the Democrats believe in freaking social programs that's keeping black people poor. I do not see how that is a good alternative. Keeping us poor. The Democrats have never produced black people that do very well for themselves, unless you get in those certain circles like the Boule and all of that. And then if you notice, now, I can go there. But do you notice all those particular black folks even got a certain look about them? I'm talking about the Boule. You know how they don't have this look like the regular rank and file black people? They all got this look about them. It's very interesting. Some of them like Bakari Sellers, Andrew Gillum, they also got that other look too. Have you noticed that? They sassy, some of them. But anyway, they all got this little look about them that just don't even look right. That's the crew that get close to white supremacy, while the rest of black folks be on social programs. As I stated the other day, we always talk about black-owned businesses. Well, the Democrats is not going to promote black-owned businesses. They're not going to promote crap. Why would I vote for a party that don't promote business in our community? But we do have a choice. We do have a choice. Why don't you go tell all those other groups that you helped, they don't have the luxury to sit it out. You notice they're not telling these other groups, hey, nah, wait a minute. We did this for y'all, so come on out and vote for us. They don't tell no other group that why they feel they can just come to black folk and wag their finger at black people and tell them you need to come out and vote. Why? So we supposed to vote what? Performative voting? That's what it is. It's performative. I'm just doing it because that's just what we do. We don't get nothing out of it, but we just go and do it. No. You have failed. The Democrats have failed, definitely America, but you have failed black people. And you had a proverbial FU the whole time that y'all been in office. That's how y'all position has been. Why should we as a collective go reward that? Why? I don't care if Republicans get in there, because you know what's going to happen? I didn't get nothing from y'all, and I didn't get nothing from them either as of right now. Maybe I can press on them to say, hey, what y'all going to do? You understand what I'm saying? Y'all give them no viable alternative. I'm talking about Democrats. You don't say nothing about what you want to do for black folk. Stacey Abrams came out and said, we can't even say black because we're going to offend people. That's a rank and file Democrat telling you that, a black one. I'm not mad at Stacey Abrams for saying it. I like that she said that. Just like Kamala said, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm only going to do something for black people. No. She said it. At least those two women were honest enough to tell black folks what's up. Did we all not like it? Sure. But it's the truth. That is a Democrat policy. You can't mention black people because other people, but see, they can't come interview with me because the first thing I'm going to say, okay, Stacey, what other people are you talking about? Name them. Name and shame. What groups of people are you talking about that don't like that? You understand? But see, she's smart enough not to name because she know who it is. She know the main ones who complain is white folk. But if you can't talk about a constituency, and I understand in politics, you just don't do something for only one group of people, but that's what y'all do. Y'all do something for all these other groups and exclude black folk. If I had to, just talking hypothetical, if I had to run for public office, you doggone right I'm going to have something for black folk. I'm going to talk about black folks' issues, what we need, etc. But in that, let's say that particular state or that particular district, I know black folks isn't the only ones that I would have to get votes from. So you have an everybody plan where it benefits everybody, and then you have a black specific plan. That's just what it is. You have to go and talk to each of these constituencies and tell them what you're proposing, period. Because if let's say you just go talk about reparations and black issues with a group of Asians and they are part of the people that's going to vote for you, or you need their votes to win, especially if black folks not dominating the district, then what good is reparations to them? Or you talking to a group of whites? Well, why reparations going to benefit them? I'm just saying is politics, you got to have something for everybody, right? But the Democrat Party makes sure to address everybody else's needs when it comes to black folk. We get into this performative voting. We get into this, well, your ancestor died. And all this, nostalgia they play on, showing you pictures of our ancestors fighting and dying and going through it in the civil rights movement. You understand what I'm saying? They never bring no pictures of today in 2022 or even 2020, whatever, to talk about voting. They got to use that. They got to, people every day is saying, you know what, listen, that's our past. I get it. But what about 2022? And as black folk, to a point, we got to stop living in the past and live in the future. Live for today. The decisions you make in today affects your future, good or bad. It affects that. And what the Democrats like to do is hold us in the past in our mind, keep us emotional to the past, and then try to constantly dictate 2022 and on based on that emotional attachment to our history. Listen, history is what it is. We know our history. We respect it. We learn definitely from our history, but then we got to live for today. We got to. And if black folks get on that mindset where nobody can use our past and emotion attached to it like the Democrats like to do, we can get somewhere. I told you, if black folks do anything, is learn how to not be emotional. Learn how to not be emotional. And I know to get people not being emotional, you got to constantly emotionally trigger them. And this white Jesus and Democrat is two subjects that emotionally triggers black people. I get it. They already playing the same games. Jay-Z is about to go do some event talking about voting. Didn't he do that the last time him and Beyonce did some freaking event talking about voting? Like, stick to freaking rap and R&B. I don't want to hear entertainers. Listen, I'm over entertainers. I don't want to hear no entertainers discussing politics. And we got to start demonizing entertainers for that. Because if we don't start demonizing entertainers for doing that crap, then the Democrats going to keep using them. I don't want to see Jay-Z tell me about no freaking voting. He's not a politician. I don't want to see Beyonce discussing voting. Beyonce, stick to your records. Sing. I like that. Jay-Z, stick to your records. I like that too. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear no, like when Biden had interview with Cardi B. I don't want to hear that. That's disrespectful because black folks, it's our fault because we have allowed that to happen. Entertainers don't have no voice to me when it comes to politics. Only thing entertainers could do is support. That's what they can do. They can support the community. Why Jay-Z don't come out talking about reparations? How come Beyonce don't talk about reparations? How come when LeBron James opening his mouth, he ain't talking about reparations either? Because they got theirs. I mean, what's the point of reparations for them? They got it. So if you're not coming out supporting what black people are saying, not a politician, but what black people are saying, then be quiet. Oh, well, LeBron, he spoke up about George Floyd. He spoke up. Man, everybody spoke about that. Even Republicans. During Trump spoke up. Trump said it was wrong. There you go. That's an easy one. But I'm talking about certain things. And then when he do speak, the times LeBron has spoke out on some things, then folks clap back at him, telling him shut up and dribble and all that. They even say, see, when he getting things they don't like, they tell him real quick, you a freaking entertainer. You a basketball player. Stay in your place. And I feel the same way. They need to stay in their place. What are they doing? It's not like they're taking their millions and applying it to the community. Look, apply it to your local community. I think it would be better to take their money and say, okay, out of the $100 million you got, out of $1 billion you got, you mean to tell me that you couldn't take at least, if I'm a billionaire, I can afford $100 million in my local community where I come from. If they just do something in their local community where they come from, like I said, support businesses. Say, you know what? Let me help these brothers and sisters that got businesses already going already. Let me build them up. Let's get some black grocery stores built up in these communities. So these black communities where I come from isn't a food desert. Let's build all this up. You know, we got the money. Listen, people now don't have no issue with entertainers having money, but if you got $1 billion, you know, you got hundreds of millions of dollars, you can't spend it all. And you know good and well through your lawyers, you can figure out ways to spend that money because you got to, so you can get major tax breaks and you benefiting the community at the same time. But if you're not doing that on a constant, then I don't want to hear you. I just don't. And when Jay-Z have that event, I'm gonna talk about it. We need to have entertainers need to stay entertaining, not politics. And black folks stop asking them to speak on politics too. Only thing they need to do is support. That's it. Support. Hey, what do you think about reparations? Man, I support that. You know, that's something that really needs to happen. And that's all they need to say. Because I'm sick and tired of seeing these black entertainers, you know, which people view them as a court jester normally. They are. We the only community that they do that to. Let's go talk to an entertainer about politics. What the hell? You got pictures of you twerking all over the Cardi B, twerking half naked, drunk. But that's the one we gonna go talk to about our politics. It's Cardi B. And look, nothing against Cardi B. I don't know her personally. I'm just talking about what she has put out there. But Cardi B is not the person you want to talk to. Then if the entertainer don't say what y'all like, Ice Cube, there you go, Ice Cube. Look at how y'all treated him. When he says something, well, Ice Cube has always been political, though, so I can't put Ice Cube in that category. If you know Ice Cube from the beginning, he's always been political. Ice Cube had the Nation of Islam around him a lot. he always spoke out. So I can't put Cube in that to stay in your entertainer lane category because, it is some exceptions to the rule. But outside the Ice Cubes of the world, which is not that many, y'all even rejected that brother. And look how stupid y'all look as a collective now. But y'all voted for the guy to say, you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That's the guy they voted for. But yes, we do have the luxury of sitting it out, and we're going to do that. I promote that heavily, sitting it out. Listen, the situation with Marcel, that was a local election, okay? And just based off of my platform, I had to do some research about what's my viewership out of South Carolina. I was just really researching that. And I don't really have a whole lot of viewership out of South Carolina. I really didn't know that. The bulk of my viewership comes out of Texas and New York and California and Georgia and Florida, and just to name some that stay on the top of my list, right? I speak more to people in those states, but South Carolina was way down on the list. So I can understand how certain messages probably didn't get to them, and you got to do things old school. Because it sounds like South Carolina is like Africa to a point. And you got to do things old school. You got to actually put up a bunch of billboards. You got to go knock on doors. You got to do all this sort of thing. Because believe it or not all people are online like that. Believe it or not, they're not. So you still kind of got to do some old school outreach, when it comes to politics. But on a national scale, which, the internet do affects the national scale more than a local election like that, especially like the big states like your Texas and your Californias and places like that. They don't want that message out there by sitting it out. And they know a lot of Republican voters going to go out and vote, especially the white ones, because they pissed off right now. And I don't blame them when they pissed off about the economy. They pissed off about, gas prices, food prices, etc. I know my wife was recently said that a pack of pecans she normally go buy, what would be like normally about $9, now it's freaking $15. I'll say, wow. $15 freaking dollars for this pack of pecans that she normally would buy, so she could, make some a cake or whatever for somebody. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me definitely know what you think about Michelle telling you that you don't have the luxury to sit it out. You don't have that luxury. So make sure you subscribe. It's very important. That way, when we post the next podcast, click that like button. That way you can spread in the algorithm. And definitely thank you for coming. We'll see you on the next one.